Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your first look at the BM Hunter in its current state in alpha. This is how it is. Look at your abilities. Every spell that I have is on my bars, so you can see how much you've lost. Not a great deal, actually. The Hunter has been a survivor of the ability pruning. There's not been anything really that's hurt it in a specific way, except for a couple of little things, which we'll talk about. So, the BM Hunter. I preface all these by don't really judge damage numbers, guys. The tuning process and the balancing of the damage hasn't occurred yet. It won't occur for a very, very long time. So every video you see from me, certainly in the alpha phase, is well before damage has been addressed and balanced and something has been done with it. So the BM Hunter, actually the biggest thing that's a loss to me, which is something I'm more sad about than I thought I would be, is the loss of Serpent Sting. Serpent Sting was removed, and at the time when I read it on paper, I understood this process. It made sense to me because, of course, we naturally refreshed it with our Cobra Shot, so it wasn't a big deal. I considered it's not really a skill cap to keep Serpent Sting up, but it is a loss of something to keep an eye on. And I actually felt as I played more and more and more and got up to level 92 with my Hunter, is the loss of Serpent Sting was actually a little bit sad. I didn't like it at all, especially when it came to mobs that weren't worth multi-shotting. You often have bosses and trash that is not into the scale. There's not enough of them to warrant going full AoE balls to the wall. And in that process, especially with BM, I just felt like, oh, you know what? I kind of liked having Serpent Sting here because not only could I actually contribute something towards that other target, but also I had something to switch around with. I could change target just to use a Cobra Shot to refresh them, and there was an element of skill to maintain Serpent Sting on a couple of targets without having to go to the detail of having to focus them down. So the loss of Serpent Sting, I actually feel, is kind of sad. I would like to see it return, I think. It's nice. There is some element of skill there. And letting it drop off is actually a major failure, so it's something to keep you on your toes a little bit. As it stands with BM, we have our main attack, the Kill Command, we have Arcane Shot, and we have Cobra Shot. Everything else comes from talents. That's our 3 attacks, essentially, and our Focus Fire ominously remains and is now a little bit more powerful to make it worth casting. We often had that weird situation in Mists of Pandaria where, in fact, you wanted to delay your Focus Fire because it wasn't actually a benefit, which was really weird. So they give us some nice attack power bonuses coming from it as well. The big elephant in the room, I think, is something that we talked about a lot with Hunters and universally was agreed as something that we wanted to see with the changes in Warlords of Draenor towards Hunters. And in fact, Blizzard addressed this early in the announcements of Warlords of Draenor, is that they were going to add uniqueness back to the Hunter. That hasn't happened. I've got to say flat out, that has not happened at all. It's disappointing, but there is nothing that relates to BM that actually makes me feel like I am somewhat benefiting or in control of beasts in any way. Certainly not a master of beasts, and I have touched on Survival and touched on Marksman, although I haven't got any footage of them, but they're still very much the same. There has only been a slight ability prune of rocking things into others so that without actually losing spells. But other than that, this BM Hunter plays pretty much essentially exactly the same. So if you're actually a fan of that and you were quite okay with how the Hunter played in Mists of Pandaria, so far it's looking pretty cool for you because it's pretty much the same. I was hoping to see a new spell, and that would be my feedback so far with the BM Hunter, is to have a new spell of some kind which relates to the beasts and gives you something that makes it feel like it was worth being a BM Hunter. That isn't just a trade of my main attack from being Kill Command over to Chimera Shot over to Black Arrow and just trading my other abilities in a similar fashion. That would be it. The big one noticeable difference, as you'll see there, is the far less focus regen we actually get from Cobra Shot. It takes a little while. This was early on when I actually played the BM Hunter. I was still not quite getting used to the far less focus regen I was getting from my Cobra Shot, which led to a few delays there, but that's always going to happen as you're testing out big changes. That's about it, guys. A little quick look for you there at the BM Hunter. My feedback right now would really be we need a new spell, and it needs to be BM specific, and it needs to involve our pet in some way that isn't just an ability like Kill Command, which sometimes just doesn't go off. Many Hunters who have played BM will be there with me, is that there are some bosses and there are some moments where your pet suddenly just cannot Kill Command for some fucking reason, and that happened a great deal when I was playing this dungeon. I will give a big shout out to the utility the Hunter's bringing. This could make them absolutely vital to a lot of raids, and especially towards Tranquilizing Shot. There seems to be an abundance of enrages in Warlords of Draenor, from trash to bosses to world mobs to just simple quest mobs. Enrages are everywhere, and some of them are very, very dangerous, including the one on this boss I'm showing you right now. So Tranquilizing Shot is pretty much vital. If they're going to prune anything else, I would be at a loss to say what needs to go, because everything we have is pretty cool. Is pretty damn cool. So there you go, guys. There's a first look at the BM Hunter. Take what you will from it. Let's see some feedback, Hunters. Bye.